D4vd never expected his final night to turn into a digital nightmare, but when his Tesla slammed into a barricade under mysterious circumstances, investigators uncovered a trail of encrypted messages, disabled cameras, and a shadowy figure that suggested his death was far from accidental. On a quiet Thursday evening, the city streets were unusually empty, shrouded in a thick fog that seemed to swallow the dim glow of streetlights. The distant hum of traffic was almost non-existent, broken only by the occasional siren or the rustling of leaves along the sidewalks. A sleek black Tesla cut through the mist, its headlights slicing through the haze like blades. Behind the wheel sat 24-year-old online music sensation D4vd, a rising star whose songs had amassed millions of streams and whose face was recognized by fans around the globe. That night, he seemed calm, lost in thought as the city blurred past him, unaware that it would be the last time he would see the world alive. Minutes later, the Tesla swerved slightly, narrowly missing a lamppost, before accelerating toward a barricade at the edge of town. The impact was violent but brief, sending shockwaves through the empty streets. First responders arrived moments later, greeted by a chilling scene. The car was mangled, yet surprisingly intact, its sleek frame bearing no sign of fire or explosion. D4vd had sustained fatal injuries, though the Tesla's autopilot system suggested no error had occurred. It was a mystery that immediately sparked rumors of foul play. Was this a tragic accident, or had someone orchestrated it? The crash site was quickly cordoned off, with police and forensic teams combing through every inch of the surrounding area. Despite the thorough search, no witnesses had come forward, and nearby security cameras had been mysteriously disabled. Officers examined the Tesla's logs, noting unusual activity minutes before the crash, but the data was fragmented and incomplete. Investigators struggled to find anything that could point to a suspect. Meanwhile, news of the incident spread rapidly online. Fans expressed shock and grief, flooding social media with tributes and speculation. Forums buzzed with theories about what had really happened. Some pointed to mechanical failure, while others whispered about a potential cyber attack or deliberate sabotage. Every new piece of information seemed to raise more questions than it answered. The tension in the air was palpable, not just at the scene, but across the city. People wondered how such a young life, so full of promise, could end in such a mysterious and violent way. The authorities, while working tirelessly, faced immense pressure from the public and media. Yet even as forensic teams collected evidence and digital experts analyzed the car's data, the truth remained frustratingly out of reach. Each lead seemed to vanish as quickly as it appeared, leaving behind only uncertainty, fear, and the haunting image of a black Tesla in the fog, carrying a young musician to his untimely death. After the crash, investigators quickly realized that traditional evidence would not be enough to solve the mystery surrounding D4vd's death. With no witnesses and limited physical clues at the scene, detectives turned their attention to the digital world that had defined the young musician's life. D4vd's phone, laptop, and social media accounts became crucial pieces of the puzzle. Every message, email, and post was scrutinized for signs of threat or unusual behavior. Hours before the crash, messages had been sent from his accounts that hinted at unease. Some were vague, almost cryptic, while others suggested paranoia. There were texts to fans expressing concern about someone watching him, though they could easily be dismissed as anxiety. Investigators, however, treated each detail as potentially significant. Encrypted messages discovered on his phone from unknown contacts immediately caught their attention. Attempts to decrypt them led to dead ends, as the communication had been carefully encoded, leaving the meaning frustratingly out of reach. At the same time, the Tesla itself became a focus of intense examination. Experts combed through autopilot logs, GPS data, and vehicle diagnostics. They discovered anomalies. The car had briefly accelerated on its own, reaching speeds far higher than D4vd would normally drive. Some systems had been altered in ways that suggested deliberate interference. However, despite the expertise of automotive analysts, they could not determine whether this was caused by a software glitch or by human manipulation. As the investigation unfolded, the story captured the attention of the online community. Forums were flooded with theories, ranging from cyber attacks on autonomous vehicles to personal vendettas against the rising star. Every strange detail in the Tesla logs, every deleted message, and every gap in surveillance footage was dissected and debated by thousands of fans and amateur sleuths. The pressure mounted on law enforcement to provide answers, but with each passing day, the case seemed to grow more complex rather than simpler. Despite their tireless work, authorities publicly admitted they were not close to making an arrest. Each lead seemed promising at first, only to disappear under the weight of conflicting evidence or untraceable digital trails. Investigators faced frustration at every turn, knowing that the truth was likely hidden in layers of encrypted files, obscure tech, and the shadowy corners of the internet. The longer the case remained unresolved, the more it haunted the public, leaving an entire fanbase desperate for closure and a city wondering if the mystery would ever be solved. As the investigation deepened, detectives began to piece together a network of potential suspects connected to D4vd's life. They looked into former collaborators, industry rivals, and individuals who had previously expressed hostility toward him. Each person brought a new set of questions and motives, but concrete evidence was elusive. Some had financial disputes with the musician, while others had personal grudges. Every angle seemed plausible, yet no lead produced a definitive suspect. Weeks after the crash, a breakthrough appeared in the form of security footage near the crash site. The images captured a shadowy figure moving purposefully along the street hours before the incident. The individual's face was obscured, and clothing made identification nearly impossible. Still, the movements suggested careful planning rather than coincidence. Detectives analyzed the footage frame by frame, hoping to catch a distinguishing feature that could reveal an identity, but the trail quickly went cold. No fingerprints, no abandoned items, no other evidence tied the figure to the Tesla or to D4vd. Amid this uncertainty, pressure from the public and the media grew. Fans demanded answers, flooding law enforcement offices with tips and speculation. Online communities, fueled by a mix of grief and obsession, scoured every detail from D4vd's social media, interviews, and music for hidden clues. Amateur investigators suggested theories ranging from intentional sabotage of the car to a sinister plot by someone close to D4vd. Each theory added layers to the investigation, but none led to an arrest. The detectives, however, refused to be discouraged. They followed up on every lead, checking alibis, financial records, and digital footprints. Every suspicious activity uncovered encrypted messages, unusual financial transactions, and unexplained interactions added to the growing complexity of the case. Yet for every lead that seemed promising, new complications arose. Security footage revealed minor inconsistencies, digital evidence pointed in conflicting directions, and potential witnesses often disappeared or refused to cooperate. The case took a psychological toll on investigators as well. Hours of reviewing cryptic messages, blurry footage, and fragmented data led to mounting frustration. Each night, the question loomed larger. Had D4vd's death been orchestrated by someone meticulous and patient, someone who knew how to cover their tracks perfectly? The deeper detectives dug, the more it seemed that the perpetrator was always one step ahead, leaving a trail designed to mislead and confuse. Despite months of effort, the person responsible remained in the shadows, untouchable. And the case became not just a quest for justice, but a haunting puzzle that refused to be solved. Months into the investigation, detectives uncovered a startling new lead that would shift the case in a direction no one had anticipated. While analyzing D4vd's digital footprint, they discovered connections to an underground tech group known for manipulating high-end vehicles. This group had a reputation for experimenting with Tesla's software and creating digital exploits that could override safety systems. The discovery suggested that D4vd's crash may have been no accident, and that someone with technical expertise had potentially targeted him. Further investigation revealed a series of encrypted emails exchanged between D4vd and unknown contacts just days before his death. These emails hinted at an impending confrontation, though the exact nature remained hidden. Analysts speculated that the musician might have uncovered something dangerous, perhaps a secret about the tech group, or had been warned to stay away from certain individuals. The emails, however, offered no names, no locations, only the sense that a shadowy threat had been looming over him. The detectives also began examining a broader pattern. Other Tesla vehicles had experienced strange autopilot behavior, though none had resulted in fatalities. In each case, anomalies suggested external interference, consistent with tampering or hacking. Investigators considered whether D4vd had been singled out deliberately, or if his death was the tragic result of a reckless experiment gone wrong. Every lead seemed to point towards someone skilled, someone capable of manipulating the technology in ways that left almost no evidence behind. The investigation expanded to track the tech group's members, their communications, and their past projects. Surveillance data hinted that certain individuals had been in proximity to D4vd on multiple occasions, yet definitive proof tying them to the crash remained out of reach. It became increasingly clear that the perpetrator had anticipated the police investigation, erasing digital traces and creating a confusing maze of false leads. As the months passed, the case became a battle against time, technology, and anonymity. Each new clue suggested a level of sophistication that made traditional investigative methods almost useless. The detectives were left chasing shadows, relying on partial logs, encrypted messages, and circumstantial connections. Every time they thought they were closing in, the trail went cold, leaving frustration in its wake. The public's fascination grew, fueled by the mysterious digital puzzle and the haunting possibility that D4vd's death was not an accident but a carefully orchestrated act. The investigation, once a search for answers, now felt like an endless pursuit of a ghost, with the perpetrator always just out of reach, hiding behind layers of secrecy and technology that no one could fully penetrate. A year had passed since the night D4vd's Tesla crashed, and the investigation remained frustratingly unresolved. Despite tireless efforts from law enforcement, every lead seemed to evaporate into a digital haze. Police maintained that they were pursuing multiple angles, from the underground tech group to former associates, but the public remained skeptical. Fans and journalists questioned how a high-profile death involving such clear anomalies could still have no arrests. The unanswered questions weighed heavily on everyone connected to the case. The digital traces of D4vd's final hours continued to haunt investigators. Autopilot logs, GPS data, and encrypted messages hinted at a sinister chain of events, yet none provided a definitive answer. Experts analyzed the Tesla's systems repeatedly, but each review produced more questions than solutions. Security cameras, which could have offered crucial evidence, remained mysteriously disabled. Every piece of potential evidence seemed designed to mislead, as if someone had meticulously planned not only the crash, but the aftermath, ensuring no one could trace it back to them. As the investigation stalled, online communities refused to let the story fade. Fans dissected every social media post, every interview, and every song lyric for hidden clues. Amateur sleuths created timelines, cross-referenced locations, and even attempted to decode the encrypted messages left on D4vd's devices. Some believed they were close to solving the mystery themselves, while others speculated that powerful forces were actively preventing the truth from emerging. The case became as much a cultural phenomenon as a criminal investigation, a dark puzzle that captivated thousands worldwide. Detectives continued to revisit the underground tech group, attempting to uncover who among them had the knowledge and motive to orchestrate such a precise act. Surveillance, financial records, and digital communications were examined repeatedly, yet no concrete evidence emerged. Each potential suspect had alibis, erased data, or connections too tenuous to justify an arrest. It seemed that every step forward brought two steps back, leaving investigators trapped in a maze of uncertainty. The story of D4vd's death became a cautionary tale about the fragility of life in the digital age, where fame, technology, and human ambition intersected with deadly consequences. Despite the lack of closure, the world watched, fascinated and horrified, waiting for a breakthrough that might never come. The Tesla crash, the encrypted messages, and the mysterious figure near the scene remained shrouded in secrecy. Justice for D4vd lingered just out of reach, and the investigation continued as a haunting reminder that some mysteries may never be solved, leaving the truth forever hidden in the shadows of a digital age where anyone could be watching and anyone could disappear.